Hello friends, we are here at Thunder Ridge Homestead. I'm here with my little helper, the kid, and we are getting ready to make some Christmas scones. We got this recipe from another channel called OurHalfAcre Homestead with Mrs. Volfie. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. I will put a link to her video in my description, and please do check her out. We are going to make them with a slight variation today because both the kid, his mama, and I are all celiac, which means that we can't eat what?
Wheat.
We can't eat wheat. So we're going to make these cranberry orange scones, and we're going to make them gluten-free. And Kid is here to help me because we're going to freeze these up so we can cook them for Christmas. We're going to cook them for Christmas breakfast, right?
Right.
Okay. So the first thing that it calls for in this recipe is 4.5 cups of flour. And since we can't use regular flour, we're going to use gluten-free flour. And I'm going to show you the kind we're going to use today. It's right here. It's called King Arthur, and it's a gluten-free flour, and it's measure for measure. So we should be able to use the same measurements for this flour as we would if we used a regular wheat flour. Okay? And there are several different varieties of this flour on the market. I've got a little package here to show you another brand that we have used. And this is called, hope we can get this focused real good, this is called Bob's Red Mill, and they also have a gluten-free 1-to-1 baking flour. And the first measurement we have to do is 4.5 cups of the gluten-free flour. And I'm going to let my helper put it in the bowl and count them for us. So how many is that? One. Okay. Now what? Two. 3. 4. And now we need a half a cup, right?
Yeah.
So put a half in. Now in a perfect world, if you're doing recipes like you're supposed to, these should be sifted, measured more carefully, but you know what? We're just going to do it like this, and we did it like this last time we made them, and they turned out pretty good even without it. So he's going to start stirring that. I'm going to add the next ingredient, and that is some baking powder. We're going to put in 1, 2, 3 teaspoons. We put in 3 teaspoons of the baking powder because that is the same equivalency as 1 tablespoon of baking powder.
Okay, dokie.
Okay. The next ingredient we're going to put in is a sprinkle of salt. I just put in a little sprinkle, about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. Okay. Give you ready?
Ready.
Okay, this calls for 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And we're changing the ingredients just a little bit again from the regular because we are going to use some brown sugar. I just have a regular dark brown sugar here.
Yes, that's right.
Half a cup.
Yes, how about 2 cup?
About half a cup of packed dark brown sugar. And I'm going to put about another 1/4 cup of white sugar. Just to kind of loosen it up a little bit. Okay? And now we stir, 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 right?
Right.
Okay? At this point when you're stirring, you're trying to get the powder to look the same all around.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I know you are. You're doing a good job. Okay, get it all kind of mushed up.
So,
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, the next ingredients we've kind of gotten ready ahead of time. 1/2 pound of butter, and the butter has been grated. It was frozen to start with, and then it was grated on a grater, and then we put it back into a bag and put it back in the freezer to get it as cold as possible. Also incorporated into my butter, and we have it in the freezer too with it, is the orange rind, which is just the orange part of the rind, from 2 large organic oranges. And I grated that up, and I mixed that in with the butter also. Now, according to Mrs. Volfie, the reason that we keep the butter and the orange and everything as cold as possible, and we work it as little as possible, is to keep the scone dough very tender and soft.
Right.
Right. If you work it around too much, it might be kind of stiff. So start mixing it together. I'm going to mix it all around. And you want the flour to get all over the butter, right?
Right.
Okay, and I'm going to give you a little bit of help. Okay? Let me give you a little bit of help too. So we're going to kind of mush it around there and make sure there's no big clumps. We're going to kind of work it all through. Right?
Right.
Okay.
I got that
All right,
a little bit fast.
Now.
I can't do everything fast, but you can.
I know. I've just practiced a long time. Okay, you ready for the next part? The next thing we're going to put in is 1½ cups of frozen cranberries. I'm going to pour those in and stir them in the powder. Okay?
I think I might taste some of these.
Well, we'll taste them when they're cooked. We're going to put our spoon under and kind of fluff them up like that till they're all covered in the flour. Right?
Right.
Okay. Then we're going to make a little well in the middle. And the next ingredient we're going to put in 1½ cups of cold buttermilk. Again, we're trying really hard to keep everything cold. And my friend, the kid here, he tasted this milk the other day, and what did you think of it to just drink it?
Yeah.
Yuck. But what does it do for our biscuits?
Tasted yummy.
It tasted yummy inside. So we have put, this is a ½ cup measure, so I've got 1½ cups of buttermilk. Now we're going to just gently stir together, right?
Right.
Okay, we got to get in here. We're going to go down like that and get it stirring. Okay? And you can really smell the orange, can't you?
Let's see.
Does it smell orangey?
Yeah.
Yes. And that's a good smell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can see little bits of orange in there, and you can still see it's pretty bumpy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have this tray over here handy, because we're going to need it in a minute. And I'm going to put my hands in and start squeezing it. You want to put your hands in and start squeezing?
No, because the butter will make it all sticky.
Oh, the butter makes it all sticky? Okay. We want to bring it together, and this should kind of be like pie. And if you see, this still looks a little dry to me. So I'm going to add a little bit more buttermilk.
Yeah.
And one thing about when you're cooking, you really kind of have to learn to look at things, right?
Right.
And see how the texture of it needs to be. Because you want it to be where it clings together like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get a little.
Not too sticky and not too dry.
Yes. Not too thick.
What are we going to do with this dough?
Stick it all together.
Where are we going to put it?
on the thing.
Okay, we've got a tray over here to work on, which I like to use because it makes cleanup easy. And we're going to just put our dough right onto the tray, aren't we?
Yes.
And clean out the bowl with our fingers. Try to get all the goodness out of the bowl.
And it looks so yummy. It tastes yummy when you're done with it.
It does taste yummy when you're done with it. That's one thing, when you're cooking, especially with little kids, you know, don't be too picky, right?
Right.
You want things to taste good, you want it to turn out, but you want it to be fun too, right?
Right.
So we're going to just take the goo off of my hands.
Well,
And
maybe wash your hands.
I am going to wash my hands. I need to, don't I? While I'm washing, can you pat it down hard so it's nice and solid? See, yeah, you can do it. It's not going to be as sticky as what I have.
Put this strawberry dog and cover it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to our biscuits. Are you ready?
Right.
Okay, now we have them. We need to get them about the same tall. So wait a minute. Can you show them your little cutter you made?
Yes. See?
We wanted a good...
I got like a telescope.
Yep, we wanted it like a cookie cutter. What was that made out of? Kid, you know?
Bottle.
A bottle. What kind of bottle? What was in it?
I sold
A little bit of Gatorade, maybe?
maybe.
Was it one of those little Gatorade bottles? We just cut the bottom out of it, didn't we?
Huh.
Yeah. No. They're still a little bit too doughy. And we made a bunch of this the other day,
Yeah.
and we used blueberries,
Yeah.
and we used grated lemon rind, right?
Yeah.
Grated lemon peel. And the reason we did the blueberries, we kind of liked them because we used wild blueberries, and they were smaller than these big old cranberries, and I think they actually worked into the dough a little bit better. So maybe if you could find a smaller berry instead of a bigger berry, or maybe take the time and cut the berries in half, that might even be a good idea. Alright, let's try again. Can you take the cutter?
Yeah.
Okay. Stay down because I can't see you if you don't. Okay, push it down and turn. Okay. Yeah. Try another spot. Try right there. Push it
I
down.
need to.
Push it right there. Okay. And turn. Okay, and then we take it out. There we go. That one came out pretty good. Okay, what are you going to do with it?
Put it like.
We're putting it in there on some parchment, right?
Oh,
Okay.
how good are easy?
Okay. Do another one.
That one.
Twist. There we go. That's enough. You don't want to make them two pushes. Just one push is enough. Okay. And sometimes when they come out of here, we might have to kind of pat them a little. Now, that's about right. Put it in there carefully. Okay, mix it.
And then room for two more.
We got room for quite a few more.
No, on double line.
Mm-hmm. Now, some of our dough is fatter and some of our dough is skinnier,
Yeah.
so we need to keep it kind of the same thick. Okay? See if I can take it out. Okay, that one's kind of come apart again a little bit. Okay.
And they taste
Put that.
really sour.
Yeah, they taste sour until we get them mixed in the mix. Put it over there. Let's try again. Now, one thing about the gluten-free flour is it's not as smooth and stuff as the regular flour is. So that's why these are a little more crumbly, and it's a little harder to get them cut and out of the muffin tin. And that's just part of being gluten-free. It just doesn't have that gluten to make it stretch and stick like regular wheat flour does. Okay, so we're going to have to do a little patching with this sometimes, and that's okay. So it's just, you just have to work with it. You just have to be patient. See how it's real crumbly?
Yeah.
That's a problem with the gluten-free. Now I did this the last time with the Bob's flour, and I actually think it seemed, the Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 gluten-free flour seemed to stick better together than this King Arthur flour is. It seems like it's a little bit more crumbly. It's hard to eat gluten-free all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's why if we try something like this that's a treat, that'll be fun if we can make it and it tastes good, right?
Right.
Okay. We're having to kind of stick them together a little bit. Okay. Okay, we're going to take these, I'm going to put some parchment on them, and we're going to go put these in the freezer. Okay, we're just going to cook a couple of these in the toaster oven, and as you can see on the rack, this is one of the blueberry lemon ones that we made the other day.
Yeah.
And you see how it's a nice little ball, and we're going to make some more to go with that, aren't we? This time, we're just going to take it in our hands and make a little ball. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Take some in your hand, make a little ball, and just put it right on there. There should be 2 of them in there. Wait a minute, let's see. About the same size. I'll give you about as much. Make that into a little ball. Squeeze it tight together. There you go. Now let's try to take all the rest of the stuff and put it into a little ball. All of the stuff on the dough board. Put all this together. Here, let me see. Put it all together into one big one. Okay.
Now I got to run my hand.
Okay. We got one more thing to put on them before we get them ready. What do we got to put on them?
Sugar.
Yeah, if we're going to eat them right now, we put sugar on them, don't we? I'm going to just put the sugar on right like this. Just right out of my jug. We're going to put quite a bit of sugar on the top of them. And Mrs. Volfie recommended she brushed hers with some melted butter first. But we didn't do that last time, and they seem to stick pretty good anyway. Alright. Now we got to put them in the oven.
Yes.
Tell them we'll be back when they're done.
We will be back when they're done.
Okay, here they are. They just came out of the oven. We just did a toaster oven today because we're just doing a few of these. Didn't want to heat up the big oven, but 350 degrees for about 40 minutes is what it takes to get these the way they are. And if you look, I'll show you the texture. This is one of the blueberry lemon scones, and this is the cranberry, and they look pretty good. Gonna go give them a try.